a ton of money, and he does a bunch of crazy things. So what we're going to talk about today is that Elon Musk is actually trying to get us to Mars, which is crazy. But he wants to build and see if we can live on Mars. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to pretend that we are scientists and that we are going to be astronauts that are going to try to find another Earth or another planet in the solar system that can have humans live there. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to ask us to kind of think like scientists. So at the top on the right here, we have Guion, the scientists right, astronauts right over here. And these were the first Black astronauts to ever be working with NASA. So Guion was working with NASA and flew up into space with NASA in 1983, and May did in 1992. So if you guys want to be astronauts, just know that there are pioneers before you, and you can definitely do that. And today we're going to pretend that we are scientists, like they are, and that we are going to figure out what in the world makes Earth livable. Okay? So there are a few key points that we want to get to. What makes Earth livable? How does the sun play a role in Earth? And how do Earth materials react to the sun? So can anyone tell me a little bit about what they know about global warming? I'm going to just tell me in about 2 sentences. Can someone raise their hand and tell me, what do they know about global warming? What do you know about global warming? Why are we trying to find another planet? What's going on in our planet right now?
Great. Let's go, Dustin. I just asked you to unmute.
Thank you. That's okay, Dustin. Go. What is it, Dustin? That's okay, Dustin. We're gonna move you, and I'll let you guys know what exactly is going on. So the Earth is getting warmer, and what we're trying to do is figure out what is going on with Earth, or what makes Earth so livable, and why is it bad that it may be getting warmer. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide, and we're going to be working as scientists to try to figure this out. So these first 2 scientists that you see up here, one is Neil deGrasse Tyson on the left, and he's an astrophysicist, and he works with anything that has to do with space. So he's super smart and very funny. And then you have this other woman here, Dr. Kismekia Corbett, and she's actually working to find a cure for the coronavirus, or a vaccine for the coronavirus. So these 2 people are very important and very cool. Now, can someone unmute themselves, please, and read what boss scientists do? So underneath these pictures, what does it say here? Boss scientists do what? Can I see someone with their hands raised? Liam, I see you. Can you unmute yourself, please? And can you read what we're doing right here? What does it say? Boss scientists. Go ahead, Liam. Unmute yourself.
Boss scientists see
Phenomena
which are impressive or
extraordinary
things, and try to make sense of them by making observations that act or an
instance
of
perceiving
the environment, one of the senses. Predictions, a statement that might or
something that might what? Happen?
Or is expected.
Okay, well, just continue. Thank you for trying, Liam. So I'm not sure what's going on with the microphone, or expected to happen. So boss scientists also write down their findings so they don't forget the interesting things that they observe. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a bunch of videos with crazy things that happen, and we're going to try to figure out what is going on. And I need your help because honestly, we all have to figure it out together, okay? All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Bangurah.
No, you're fine. So the first thing we're going to have is a collaborative board. And so with this collaborative board, what do you think will happen to the Earth if the sun disappeared? Go ahead and type into the collaborative board, what do you think will happen to the Earth if the sun disappeared? Okay, thank you, Dustin. Looking for a few more responses. What would happen to the Earth if the sun disappeared? There's about 17 people here, so I'm looking for about 17 responses. Well, first of all, the Earth would go into eternal darkness, and cold would bring the Earth. Okay, it would get cold and hot. Interesting. It will always be night. Even more interesting. We will have no place to live. Wow, I like also that you're also liking some of what your friends are saying in the chat. You can post twice. Shout out to the people that are posting twice. Yes, Jabril. Okay, with the post. Jamal says it will not be hot and it will be cold. Plants will die and so dark bees will die. We will not live. Looking for a few more responses. I'm gonna give about 30 more seconds. If you've already posted, you can also post again. Make sure you get those PBIS points. What happened if the sun disappeared?
I think we wouldn't like we would not be standing here right now, and we would just be somewhere. We would never have. I don't. It's like we would never have fun because you can't really do too much when it's dark. Then
All right, that was good. So you definitely can't have fun because it's gonna be dark and you gotta be in the house when it's dark. Okay, that's good. Thank you for letting me know that. All right, so we got our first prediction. So you're about to watch this video. As you watch this video, I want you to think about what would happen to the Earth if the sun disappeared. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch this video. As you're watching this video, I want you to write 2 things that would happen if the sun disappeared. All right, I'm gonna type that in the chat. You're gonna write 2 things that would happen if the sun disappeared. All right, so I'm looking for you to either write it in your notes. You can also write it in the chat to get that point, but you're gonna write 2 things that would happen if the sun disappeared.
It's time. What if the sun disappeared?
Oh.
We would need a lot of flashlights.
A lot of things after this video. Can I have somebody raise their hand and tell me what kind of things did you see that would happen if the Earth disappeared? And can I also have you say it with a bit of evidence? I want to hear, what did you see? What do you know about maybe revolution or rotation or anything like that that would help you answer this question? Jabril, I saw your hand up. Do you want to unmute yourself? What did you learn about what would happen if the Earth and the sun disappeared? I mean, not the Earth, the sun. Okay, Neo.
Didn't mean to unmute.
That's okay. Neo, do you want to unmute yourself and see what? Tell us what you learned.
Well, I was listening and I learned that if the Earth, if the sun did disappear or just go away, then the Earth would lose its gravitational. I forgot what the other word was. Gravitational something, and
Revolution around the sun.
yeah, and its orbit would just be gone, and the Earth would fly into space, into darkness.
And what about life on Earth in terms of like temperature and how things would be affected in Earth? What would happen to the different aspects?
The first of all, plants would die because there's no sunlight to produce them, make them shine, and also the
So they wouldn't be able to photosynthesize to create energy, right?
Yeah, and the oceans would freeze, but since the water under the ice, under the top of the ice, would stay and it won't freeze because of the core of the Earth's the core of the Earth is so hot that it stays warm and doesn't freeze.
Very good. Thank you so much, Neo. And I really appreciate how well thought out your answers are. So, I think a lot of what we're seeing in the video was, besides the gravitational pull changing and us flying into space, which is that our revolutions, our orbit would be gone because the sun would also be gone. We also would have a lot of temperature changes, not only in the water, but on the soil and in a lot of different aspects. So we know what happens, but what is the scientific information about what is going on? So we're going to move on to the next slide and we're going to discuss that. So the first thing that you need to know that's so important to the temperature is that the solar energy from the sun travels as solar rays to go into the atmosphere of Earth and to warm it up so that we can survive, right? So that the temperature won't drop so much that we won't be able to go outside and play, or that the plants won't be able to live, right? And it actually warms it unevenly. So if you see the Earth right there, parts of the Earth in the middle are closer to the sun. So those are going to get warmer than the parts that are further away from the sun at like the top of the Earth, right? Just because of the axis and the revolutions and things like that. That is what causes parts of the Earth to be really warm while other parts are a bit colder. But what happens when the solar rays actually get into Earth, right? Well, there are a bunch of things that get affected, just like you saw in the video. And these things that get affected, these materials, live in different places in the Earth. So you have the lithosphere, which is anything that is solid Earth. So anything like mountains and soil, those are all the lithosphere. Then you have the atmosphere, which, can someone unmute themselves and read what is in the atmosphere? The little part on the right. Can someone unmute themselves and read what is in the atmosphere? Destin, can you tell me what's in the atmosphere?
Yeah, I had to make my screen bigger so I can see what it say.
That's okay. Can you see it?
It's gas. Gas. Atmosphere is gas, the air.
And hydrosphere, what's the hydrosphere?
All water.
And then biosphere?
All life.
Very good. So you have the different spheres, 4 specifically, that we're going to be continuing to talk about, and all of them come into play with each other. So what those are called are Earth materials, and the Earth materials are living inside of the spheres. So for example, Earth lives in the lithosphere, gas lives in the atmosphere, water lives in the hydrosphere, and animals and plants and us, we live in the biosphere. All right, so just to make sure that you guys are paying attention and got what we were asking, let's make sure that we get this quiz and see who can get the right answers.
Right, you have about 4 more minutes to go ahead and complete this quiz. It's going to be like a Jeopardy game. So some of the questions are going to be like, what is a blank? All right, and it's going to be your job to answer those questions. All right. So we're looking for some 6 out of 6. Let's see who's paying attention to solar energy, the different parts of the Earth materials. Really making sure we get the 6 out of 6.